with the goal of having up to, oh my gosh, I blinked already.
Hey, how you doing today? This is Chief Xander Gamble. I'm here with our Director of Enrollment, Alfonso Garrett, and today we're going to be talking about switching programs. So, one of those big questions. First off, can you switch?
Yes, Chief, you actually can switch programs. So as we are ramping up the U.S. Naval Community College, we're adding new programs on a regular basis with a goal of having up to 15 degree programs once we're fully operational. So this fiscal year, we're starting off with 7 degree programs, all in unique naval relevant areas. So for instance, military studies, organizational leadership, cybersecurity, general studies with computer studies specialization, as well as nuclear engineering technology are amongst the very first ones we're bringing on board. So we're experiencing a huge interest from students who are potentially interested in changing their degree programs based on these new programs as they come available. So for instance, if a student in some situations will start a course and get into the program, they'll enjoy their experience, but then a new program will come available and they'll actually determine that might be a better fit for them in their career trajectory or their educational needs. So they'll then submit a request to us asking could they change. So this question is very important for everyone to know and be aware of. So the first step is, like always, the student should reach out via our Student Support Center online at our website, usncc.edu. Click Contact Us, and there's a link there for the Student Support Center. Whether the student is a prospective student, being someone brand new, not yet enrolled, or a current student, they're able to select that respective identification and then submit a request via that form for a potential course switch or program switch, rather. So before the start of classes, so any point during the application process, before that student is actually starting their course, they're able to direct that to the enrollment team. So their members of my team will then determine if there's spaces available and if there's time available for us to honor that potential program switch at that point in time. That's the absolute easiest, most direct way to do it, is before you officially start your program. Once students are in their program and actively taking courses, even if it's after that first day of class, at that point in time, changing programs gets a little bit more involved, because in addition to confirming if there's space availability, at that point, students are in a course actively that they're going to have to complete, and complete successfully, as we expect all students to do. So in addition to that, we also have to determine, based off the student's prior education or training and evaluation from the JST, if the program switch makes sense for them. Because as you can imagine, the more college credits a sailor or Marine may have, the closer they are along to getting their associate's degree. So we don't want to necessarily approve students to switch if it's not in their best interest, whether add additional time in school or additional funding requirements or whatever the case may be. So again, 2 main ways: before classes start, your very first class starts, or once you're in the program.
Okay, so if you do decide to switch, what are the pros and cons of switching?
All right, so great. So I kind of hit one that's a big one. One of the cons of switching programs is, depending on your prior credits and how far you are along in the degree program, that may require students to do repetitive coursework, or even perhaps be so far along that it extends the time to graduation. So that's one big con. However, a pro is, if a student is early along in the process, they're able to find a program that may be more fitting to what their desires may be. So for instance, say maybe someone started off in cybersecurity, maybe they're in an IT rating, for instance, and naturally thought that made a lot of sense. But then on comes organizational leadership, something that applies to all ratings, all MOSs. So that sailor, for instance, in this example, may decide, I'm pretty comfortable with my IT background. I want to develop as a leader a little bit more, so maybe organizational leadership might be a better fit for my needs. So that's one great pro. So even if you originally had a desire, you also have the opportunity to change that in some point in the process. One big thing to note, though, is we only are able to honor one potential program swap during a student's education with us at the USNCC.
Okay, so if I started with military studies and then I jump over to cybersecurity, and then I'm like, oh, you know what, I like this organizational leadership, I can't keep switching. I've got to commit, and I can commit to one change and one change only during my tenure.
Yeah, exactly, because again, every course you take is a step closer and closer to the associate's degree. So again, to our students' needs, to the naval needs, etc., we want to make sure we're being good stewards of our time, effort, and resources.
Okay, so really we should probably think about what we want to study before we start applying to all the degree programs, right?
Yep, absolutely. Choosing to start your education is a huge undertaking. So the more time you can take to research the potential options, the opportunities that exist, as well as the outcomes is very critical in the process.
Well, thank you very much.